In this series of short videos, I want to share with you some of the practical principles that I have learned over my lifetime. I plan to send to you one of these a month for 7 months. They're only 3 or 4 minutes long, so I want you to watch them. I hope they'll build into your life. These are things that have really changed my life, and they've made me a much more effective person and servant of Jesus. By learning them early, you'll find great joy and blessing in your life. Now, the first is to be decisive. A lot of people I know have trouble making decisions. They're desperately afraid of making a wrong decision, so they wait and wait and wait and don't decide. I read a poem in the Wall Street Journal that says, "Before reaching a vital decision, some people falter and grow tense, but I, without hesitation, immediately straddle the fence." I once knew an executive who had a sign on his desk, "The definite answer is maybe." When you make a decision and don't make it clearly, that in itself is a choice. Just as there are consequences when you make a decision, so there are consequences in not making a decision. Herman Cortez was a Spanish explorer who left Spain to discover new areas in South America in the 15th century. They found rampant disease and cold conditions and savage natives who threatened their lives. The crew all wanted to get back on the ship and head home as fast as possible. Cortez couldn't motivate his men to keep going ahead until he ordered that the ships be burned. When the sailors realized there was no turning back, they jumped into action and rushed forward. As long as we have an escape, we really will put off making a decision. Sometimes you need to burn your ships. So you ask, how do I know if it is the will of God or not for a certain thing? I was a young man when I quickly found out that I couldn't make right decisions all the time. I often would make a decision and then start wondering if I'd made the right decision or if I should have chosen a different path. I began to doubt about the decision I had made, and that threw me into a quandary. Sometimes, of course, it's very clear that there's really only one choice. God makes it perfectly plain, and it's not something that you can miss. But often that's not the case. It's not always clear. Now, that presupposes that you are really committed to doing God's will and not just doing what you want. But if you really are intent on doing God's will, He won't let you make a mistake. So I started saying, "Lord, I am willing to do your will, whatever it is, but to me, A is the best decision that I can figure out. So I'm going to go with A unless you tell me something totally different and make it clear to me. Now, if you want me to do B, then you have to show me clearly." So I made the decision, and then I make it right by my attitude, by my words, and by my commitments. God allows me to choose, and by my actions after I make a choice, I make it right. So remember to make a decision and then to make it right by what you do about it. There was an old bank president of very few words. He never said very much. He was very successful and he was retiring. A young man was replacing him. And the young man came to him one day and said, "Mr. Brown, share with me your insights so I can be as successful as you." Mr. Brown said 2 words, "Right decisions." "But how do I make right decisions?" the young leader said. He answered 1 word, "Experience." "But how do I get experience?" And the bank president answered 3 words, by making decisions. You can learn and grow and make decisions and make them right by your actions and attitudes after you make the decision. It'll be life-changing for you if you are decisive and determined. So here's my summary. Number 1, ask God to guide you into His will. Number 2, make a decision. Don't live in doubt. Number 3, make a decision right by your actions and attitudes after you've made the decision. Thank you.